know. And it's not about self-awareness. It's about your gut. And I'm not talking the fear in your gut. I'm just talking like, you know. You know when someone's cheating on you. You know when someone makes you happy. You know. End of story. No?
Hey, that's a soundbite right there. Clip it. But so many people miss it, right? They're like, oh, I don't know. People
okay,
they
why?
change.
Why?
Well, we'll be here for another like 8 hours, but why do I think people are like that? It's because they're prisoners of their own mind. They're enslaved in their own mind, right? They're so used to the toxic ability of connection with a partner that they don't know how to get out of it. They choose not to want to get out of it. They rather be having the cry me to their family and friends without going out and actually solving that problem, which again makes you look like you're the one with the egg on the face or the pie in the mouth or whatever you want to say, right? So people just got to do better, right? Dating is a full-time job. It's a full-time job, right?
Yeah.
It feels like you're doing 40 hours plus another 40 hours because you have to have that instant communication. One of my last guests said the exact same thing. We were like, there's no excuses. You either or either with somebody, right?
Yeah.
You have phones, you have FaceTime. You want to communicate with somebody, you can communicate with somebody. This is how life is.
Okay. I have a question for you. I know you're interviewing me, but do you know who Tinks is?
No.
Okay, so she's like a 31-year-old influencer content creator, and she just launched her podcast, and I am obsessed with her.
What does she talk about?
It's advice. Her main audience is like females and gays, but like I still think it's really great for like anyone could listen to it, but that's kind of, you know, her audience. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of dating advice. It's a lot of just like just living your best life advice, food, travel, like just, you know, deep shit, but also like surface shit too, like fun stuff. She makes really fun TikToks. That's kind of how she blew up. All to say, she has a theory called the box theory. Okay. And so let's just operate within like a straight cis platform of like me and you meeting, let's say. Okay, let's use me and you as an example. When you meet me on a date or at a bar or in whatever setting, when you meet me, you're either putting me in one of two boxes. Someone you would date and someone you would hook up with. And hook up meaning like maybe once or twice and that's it. Or date, like someone you're actually interested in dating as someone that could be your girlfriend and you're potentially your wife. Okay. And there's no veering from that. She literally says it's one or the other. And
common sense.
If you start in the hookup box, you cannot go to the dating box. Like that's a very rare occasion. It can happen, but it won't, because when they meet you, because they're feral and they know. So it's like, what do you think on that? What's your take on that?
There's a lot that's there to unpack because, oh Lord. Okay, you know what? We got time. We got time. Do you have time? You got time? How much time do you have? You got time? Okay.
Employed, babe. She's
so let's wake it up then. Let's wake it up. Now we're having the spicy content now. Okay, spicy. Here's the thing, and this is coming from a man's perspective. Yes. That is true to a degree, but depending on the type of guy that's listening and hearing what you just said.
The box.
Me, I'm self-aware. So I'm going to put you in actually no category because I got to see what's up here first. I got to see what's up there. No. Hear me out. I got to see what's up here because I'm at a time of my age right now where
yes,
you want to hook up with somebody. It's not hard. If you want to go out there and you want to hook up with somebody, it's really not that hard. You can go out to the bar, you can go on Tinder, you can swipe left, swipe right, and boom, you know, within 48 hours. You know what I mean? You got to see the essence of what's coming through a person, how they speak. Now, I'll answer it like this. I'm going to do it. Wow. It's fine. 6 years. We're going to get spicy. I had a conversation with somebody that's like 4 years older than me. Okay.
42. A woman.
Obviously a woman. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. 42. And the funny thing about this is she was she did not know what she wanted. And I could pick it out in the first initial couple conversations.
Okay.
We meet up in person and I didn't put her in a box because she already put herself in the box. Mm-hmm. The nervousness, I get it. You know, you're on a date with somebody. I had to listen, self-awareness. Why are you so nervous? Like, honestly, why are you so nervous? Oh, I don't go on dates with men. So you go on dates with women?
Right. You're like what? What does that
That's
mean?
the most cap shit I've ever heard in my life. I'll keep it real. You've never been on dates? Like, you're 42. You're single.
You've been on a date? Like, let's be
You've been
real.
on dates. Like, who you considering, right? The first little bit I've always said is this, and this is how I'll answer the question. I'm giving you like a long form run on
Oh, I love
sentences
it.
here. You can normally tell who a person is by how they're communicating. And sometimes, and I tell men this all the time, I tell women this all the time. When you go on a date, ask the right questions and you'll get everything you need to have in front of you. Because
Okay, so
you
what's
will
an
know if
example of
somebody's
that?
wearing, like, so say for instance, you're not going in surface level, but it's just like say the nervousness thing, right? Call it out. I'm a type of person. If you're nervous, what's making you so nervous here? Oh, well, I haven't really been on dates. That's cap. I'm sorry, that's cap. You've been on dates. Like, what are we
So
doing?
right then and there, were you like not interested after that?
I right when she was there, it's just the nervousness, the
Yeah.
fidgeting, and and my biggest pet peeve, because I don't care. Like, if you need to check your phone for something, don't be like, I'm sorry, I gotta check. Just check your phone. I don't care. Because maybe you have a sick dog. Maybe you have a relative that's in the hospital. I don't give a you don't have to check in, because to me that says you probably pulled out your phone and a guy looked at you and goes, why the I'm not gonna do that. It's like, it's whatever. It's life.
Like I
You're
don't
not
even
gonna
know
push
you.
over. Right? I
Right.
don't know you. I'm not a pushover. So I'm saying all that to say this is, do you put people in the category? Yes, you can. Somebody like myself, I don't put you in a category because I got to see how you speak. I can almost 9 times out of 10 pick how a person's going to be and where it's going to go, right? Because if it's going to be hookup culture, it's going to be hookup culture, and good luck. Because
Do you think like 5, 10 years ago, that's how you operated? It was like one or the other.
now, see. I feel like this is your show now. You just hijacked my show. Hello?
Sorry. It's just fascinating to me because I'm like, it's so interesting looking back at like my dating life. I don't even think I had that much of one. Like
Mhm.
I did, but it's like, God, I want to shake myself.
So I'll
Like,
tell
and
you
I
this.
wasn't even that bad.
Mhm. So back in the day, I've never had that superficial mind of like hook up first with somebody. I've always been like, let me get to know who the person is. Now that I'm more seasoned and I see how male and female nature is, it's very polar opposites, right? There's a lot of things that I feel like men play off of when it comes to women if they want certain things. And there's certain things that women do that play off on their own emotions because they've had traumatic experiences that they haven't healed from, right? And that's an unfortunate scenario and situation. That's why I think a lot of women are more guarded than men. And we get that, right? Because of, could be childhood, could be past lovers, and they don't know how to heal from that, right? So you can always pick that up here and there, right? When it comes down to what a person's presenting on the table, right? So I've never been a guy that's like hookup culture. Never. I don't believe in it, right? I know some of my guys, that's what they're into. They like stringing along 4 different guys or girls. They do what they want to do, right? Everybody's experimenting in the dating realm. It's life. It happens, right? So yeah, it's easy to sleep with somebody. It's not hard. You know what I mean? But I just never operated from that lens. So this little Tink character, I'd call her on her bullshit. I would. I'd call her on her bullshit because
No,
I have a different.
I
No,
love
I have a
her.
different opposing views. No, I have a different point of view because yeah, like we.
But that's fair. And I think she knows that too. Like, not everyone is doing that. That
I'll
would
sum
be
it up like this.
crazy to
I'll
say
sum it
that
up like this.
everyone operates that way.
Yeah,
But
I'll
it's
sum
like
it up
the
like this.
majority does.
Yeah. I'll sum it up like this. When a man and a woman meet, we already know what's going to happen at some point in time. We will eventually hook up. It's either we're going to hook up day number 1 or day number 30. It all depends on how the vibe goes. Because you know what? Here's a little learning lesson for people here. A woman has to open up herself to a man. A man doesn't open up himself to a woman. You know what that means?
Mm-mm. What do
See, I
you
like
mean?
that. So, for a woman to find her mating strategist or mating person that she wants to mate with, she has to be the one that controls and dictates that pace because she's just not going to do it for everybody. And if she did, well, then she'd be broken. That's all I got to say.
Hmm.
You can challenge me. Let's go. I'm
She
feisty
would be,
now.
hold on. She would be broken if she did?
100%.
That's all I'm hearing. I'm like,
That's all you heard?
if she's opening herself up to every guy, she's broken?
1000% she's broken.
Oh, no.
She's broken.
No.
A woman has to have an emotional connection to be able to simply get with
I don't
the guy
know,
of her
man.
choosing.
How can you say that when you're not a woman?
You have some stories to share?
Okay, so we're so funny because we're like kind of dancing around it. Like I'm trying not to like one right now, but
You're not. I don't care. It's fine.
So for me, it's like I've never been. Have I definitely done the hookup thing? Yes. Have I definitely done? Yes. I have not been like you, where I'm like anti. I'm not saying you were anti hookup culture, but you're like that's just not my thing. And I've also never been the girl who just opens herself up to everyone. So I'm like trying to like tread lightly of like, what does that look like? But no, I think a woman can do whatever the she wants. I do think there's women out there that
and this is what's wrong with the world right now. And this is what's wrong with the world.
What do you mean?
Because a woman has to protect. Okay. What's women's, how do I say this without having people already probably ruffling, bunching the air already?
People are already sitting up straight. They're like,
but I've said this in a group setting. This girl comes out and she says, I can have and not have no attachment to him. And I simply said, you're broken. You are. You're broken.
No, I disagree.
Because here the thing is this. You as a woman, your main position is to protect your womb, right? So if you're having guys just come in, out, like what are we doing here?
Okay,
you have to have a soul tie. That's their profession. Now, see, that's what's wrong with the world in the mainstream, right? Is that a lot of people hear, I can go out there and have 5 guys in the space of a week. No, you can't. There's a problem there. There's a geographical problem there because you're supposed to be simply wanting to find that man, date that man, and if you're wanting to have kids with him, have kids with him, right? But having all of these different men in and out of your life, you have a thing called a soul tie. When you have a mating partner, it's a what are you basically extracting energies between the both of you guys. You know what I mean? That's what's happening.
Okay, so this is what I will say.
Go ahead.
There are elements to what you're saying that I kind of agree with, but
It's all documented.
I think that it's just blurry because there are people who are born female who don't identify as females. There are people who never want to have kids. There are people who it's all connected. So I don't think it's fair to say that every single woman can't open themselves up to everyone. I just don't think that's fair. Do I think the majority is emotionally attached? Yes.
If a woman wants to have something of genuine connection with a man, it's best for her to eliminate her options. Yes, have the option.
You're a man saying what's best for a woman.
Yeah, I can do that.
No.
Why not? I haven't said anything that's going to cancel me yet.
No, and at the end of the day, we're having a safe combo. Like, I don't feel threatened whatsoever.
No. But I think what's happening is a lot of women are listening to different areas of the world and thinking it's okay to date multiple men. It's not, because you basically are going to hinder yourself. So let me ask you this question. If you go through your 20s, and you're in and out of different relationships with guys, right? When you get to 30, what are you going to then do? Because then you've missed all that time. You probably had a guy that you could have probably been able to settle down with that is probably right for you, but then you're in your 30s, 40s, and you're still looking for Prince Charming?
But what's wrong with that?
There's a lot that's wrong with that.
No, because as Tinks would say, it's not too late and you're not too old.
What does Tinks do?
She's an influencer. But, it's not, you're not too late. It's not too old.
Send me the profile after this episode is done.
Absolutely, I will. I will be spamming you with her. I love her.
Please do.
But it's like, here's the thing. We're all different. And I'm a cis woman and you're a cis male. So it's like, we're going to have, like, you're going to think, it's so tricky. I'm like, how do I say this? It's like,
because while you're thinking, I'll keep it real. Like, I have gay friends, right? I
I have a lot of gay friends. Trust
listen,
me.
I support that community. But when it comes down to the mating strategy between men and women, it's best for women. Like, you can date around. I'll clear it up even more. You can date around, but I don't think it's wise to have different as a woman when there's a spiritual tie to when you're thinking about with a man and a woman. It's swapping of energies. And when you have all of these different energies that you're playing with, how are you going to be able to have your primal state of wanting to be able to settle down with a person when that time comes?
Yeah, but you can't say that because
Why
you're
can't
not
I
a
say
woman.
that? I can say
Because,
whatever
like,
I want.
women can. Yes, you can. And so can I. We're just going to disagree on it. Like, I hear what you're saying. And, like, there are elements to what you're saying that are valid. But at the end of the day, it's just like, how could you know? You're not a woman. How could you know what she wants?
Look at society and the way it is right now.
I just think that, like, there are too many options of, like, how this could go. There are some girls, yes, but not every girl. So that's where I just disagree with you, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. Well, you can disagree. You're in a committed relationship, so you're good.
Of course. But, like, back when I wasn't, I have no regrets. Like, sometimes I want to shake myself and be like, God, what were you doing? But at the same time, it literally got me to where I was. So when I met my boyfriend, I literally looked at him and said, like, I'm looking for a husband.
You did say that on the podcast, and you said that on the podcast. You said that on the podcast.
On the last one?
Yeah, you did say that. You did say that.
I was very clear about what I wanted because I knew what I wanted.
But here's the difference between you and I think majority of what we see out there in the dating pool. You're self-aware. You have a self-awareness. You know what it is you want. I think what's happening is there's a lot of people, a lot of men, a lot of women. And I listen, I shake the tree on both sides. Don't get me started on men because it's a whole, like,
don't get me started.
I'll get canceled. Trust me, I'll get canceled. You want to see canceled? I'll get canceled for men. Because I think that when you're self-aware in this dating space, you know what it is you want. You know what you can manifest. You know what it is that you want to date and things like that. I have these conversations with people like, do I think men and women should be friends?
I will agree with that.
Right? I've always said this. Do I think men and women should be friends? Not wise. Can cause issues.
I think it's trickier when they're in a relationship.
Yes. Because here's the thing is, and I will go back and I'll say this.
Trickier, not impossible, just trickier.
If you ask your male friends if they wanted to have a chance to be with you, what do you think they're going to say?
I would say that, like, probably 75% of them would say yes and 25%
exactly.
would say no.
And that's the reason why you can't dwindle in that.
It's not all, though. It's not all,
True.
though.
True.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do I think I had more male friends when I was single? Yes. Do I still have male friends? Yes.
But you don't have the same company of the male friends as you're in a relationship, though.
No, it's definitely different. And I'm not going to disagree with you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is crazy. Like, we're getting, yeah.
No, but it's my philosophies. And I just think that, like, from a connection standpoint, I just believe it's just because I know women that are in committed relationships, and I know that they were never, just by how they were portraying themselves, unless they were doing things behind closed doors. And I'm not watching what women do. I'm not watching and counting their body count and stuff like that. But I just know that they operated a little bit different. When they were single, they were single. Now, did they have people knocking on the door? Possibly. Obviously, it's just life. But I don't think they were particularly out there doing all of these things and just messing around with all these different people. You know what I mean? I think you got to have a little bit more self-respect for yourself that way.
But I also think if you do want to sleep around and do that, it doesn't mean you don't have self-respect. And I think that's where we disagree, right?
Well, I think society needs to stop listening to those, influencers such as, Meg Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, doing all those. I just think
it's impossible to, like, it's kind of like you said, you're like, I don't fit in either box. So it's like, why are we trying to put each gender in a box? It doesn't work.
It does. There's resources to it. Trust me.
Disagree.
It's fine. We can disagree.
For a good podcast episode.
Going into 2023.
Well, it's
As
definitely
somebody that's in a committed relationship,
yeah.
but what you see out there.
Yeah, good. No, for sure. Again, I'm speaking from like my committed relationship bias, of course. Um, and a lot of my friends are booed up, like a lot. So, and then a lot of my single friends are, you know, queer or so it's just like different. I'm like operating in a, but I'm looking at a lot of um different scenarios. But if I had to speak from a like if I was single, female, straight perspective, and my other girlfriends who are, is just not being forthcoming enough with what you actually want, not being embarrassed with what you want, not being shying away from what you want. Like, oh, Joe Schmo that you met on Hinge at the coffee date. Like, you don't owe protecting his feelings. You don't owe him, anything. Go to the date, know what you want, moving. And if you don't know what you want, then be okay with just hooking up and having a good time. But if you know what you want, I have a list, great. But if you know what you want, and that is a boyfriend or a husband or a life partner, go into it like that. What's wrong with that? No one's going to shoot you for that. No one's going to fault you for that. And if they do, they're clearly not the right one. Sift through the garbage. And I think, you know what? Funnily enough, I do think people are getting better at that. I do. But maybe the people that I'm surrounding myself with are getting better at that. But it's just such a negative topic. That's what I'll say. It's become such a heavy, negative topic. And I don't know why. I wish we could make it fun again. Because it is fun. Dating is fun. Like, it's supposed to be fun. Why is it not fun anymore?
I'm itching to talk so bad because I'm going to tell you something.
Go.
I'm with what you said is go into it and you don't owe people things. But here's my problem with Hinge. I did a little social experiment. I'm sick and tired of the people that have the prompting questions about I'm a good communicator, I'm a good listener, and then when you get into conversation with them, they don't present any of what they're saying is true. They're not, no, because if you're a good communicator, you should be okay to drive the conversation, right? We're both performers, as you would like to call, right? Some people could say parts of the podcast is performative. It is what it is. Of course,
absolutely.
But when you get into a conversation with somebody and somebody stalls when you ask them a question, like say you ask a person the current job that they're in, is that something you always wanted to do? And they stall and being like, oh, well, I don't know. It makes me have a disconnect now because I'm like, so are you just working to make money? Or are you working just because you're looking for the next best thing? And if you have a next best thing mentality, I think it can impede a lot of different factors. It tells me that you don't maybe have a sense of direction of where it is you're going, right?
And so you need somebody that does, right?
There you go, right?
Like a non-negotiable for you.
Exactly. That's a non-negotiable. So if you're going to be an open communicator, show that you have open communication, right? Prime example. Person called me twice, right? And then ghosted. And I'm like, what's with the ghosting business here? Because that's happening a lot in dating.
Oh, yeah. Right? That's like a go-to.
That's a go-to. And I'm like, call that shit out. Men, women, call that shit out. And I've had people ghost me and I say, hey, listen, because of your lack of inconsistencies, all the best. I don't do that. Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean on my lack of inconsistencies? Or you piss them off, right? And they're like, who do you think you are telling me what's going on? No, this is the life that we're in. I know what it is I want. I know where we're going. I know what we're doing. And if you can't even come 50% into the game, I don't want you to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect. I'm my own person, right? There's going to be times that we're going to meet in the middle and there's times that we're going to be separated. But you have to be able to uphold your end of the bargain of what it is you're wanting to bring in this relationship.
Well, so you've obviously never ghosted anyone.
I don't ghost people. I don't got time to ghost people.
It's awkward, right? Like when things aren't working out, it's super fucking awkward. Nobody wants to go meet up with that person in person and be like, this isn't working for me. Nobody wants to get on the phone. Just text. For me, sure, text is cheap. Great. At least send a hey, by the way, like I'm looking for something a little bit else. You're a great person. I wish you the best. Like that's literally all it takes. ghosting is just so, it tells me everything about you if you do that.
It's because, so here's my theory about ghosting. People ghost because they don't get called out on it. It's like a child, right? If a child touches the stove, eventually you tell them don't touch the stove. When they touch the stove, they'll get burnt, right? And I think a lot of men and women don't ever want to call it out, and they let bad behavior go. And I think in the world and where I come from, this with coaching and things like that, call people out for their bad behavior, right? Because it's a character flaw if you're ghosting people. Because if they're ghosting you, they're ghosting everybody else. And what it's doing, it can trigger some, right? And when it triggers some, you're just setting up an onslaught of dominoes that keep continuously to start falling down, right? So as those dominoes are falling, there's nobody checking that. There's nobody saying, hey, like, listen, that's bad behavior. And it is bad behavior. You know what I mean? Like, if you had somebody at your job, right, always teasing you, and you mentioned about your list, right? They keep teasing you about your list, keep teasing you about your list. And then they keep gradually moving on to the next person. And it could be, oh, you have a certain way that you walk, or you have a certain way you talk, or your shoes look funny, and nobody's not calling that out. You're letting that bad behavior continuously just keep going. Call it out. Knock on the door. Call it out. Flick them. See ya. Bye.
So if somebody ghosts you, are you sending them a text like, hey, I don't appreciate that? Boom.
No, I don't. So here's what I do. Here's a learning tip.
Oh,
I don't respond back.
He loves
it. I leave it because I know that I'm sitting on nuclear warheads. So when you decide to, after you're done doing whatever, why you had to ghost me? Oh, hey, how's it going?
Oh, always.
Hey, you know what? All of the best. Your lack of inconsistency is not something that I do over here, but I wish you all the best down the road.
Okay, and so you're eventually calling it out when they come back around.
Oh, yeah. Come back around. I'm sitting up at the plate like Sammy Sosa, not on steroids, and I'm just gonna home run. Here's the two responses you'll get. They'll either accept it and say, hey, listen, I didn't mean to. Hey, let's talk. Or they'll get pissed off. When they get pissed off, it's because they've never been called out.
And you like that?
Love it.
You like when they get pissed off?
I love when I check people. So what are they going to do? What are they going to do to me? Nothing.
I can tell you like that.
I know. They're not going to do nothing to me. I say what I need to say. And if people don't like it, it's not my problem.
Listen, having an opinion is hot. I will say that. Having an opinion is hot. We just need to have... Here I go saying, having an opinion is hot, and then I can't back it up. But it's just that, like, I'm a little tentative when you speak for women not being a woman. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm like, having an opinion's hot, but this kind of pissed me off. You know what I mean? It's like a healthy balance.
What do you mean having an opinion?
Like, I can appreciate that you're like, no, this is how I see it. This is how women are. But I'm also like, you're not a woman. But
okay, so look at traditional views, though. Look at traditional views, though. Look at traditional views, right?
Are we living in a traditional world? No.
Because the mainstream is making you say that it's not a traditional world. Traditional views is, if you look at Adam and Eve, right? There needs to be a polarity of masculine. Are you a godly
man, Rory?
No. There needs to be a polarity of masculine energy versus feminine energy. There needs to be that.
To some people, Adam and Eve is just a story. And to some people, it's their life.
There's a polarity that needs to happen. Okay? There's men, and then there's women. I know, you love this. There's men and there's women. And I'm not saying anything that's borderline. I'm just saying, I think that if you're a woman, it's probably best to shut the valve when it comes to certain things so it doesn't hinder you in the future. That's all I'm saying.
So when do men shut the valve?
Men shut the valve is when they're self-aware. Now, see, if you really want me to wake it up, I can. There's a lot of men that are over here like Peter Pans, right? They're running around like Peter Pans, and they're basically like Cinderella at 12 o'clock. When 12:01 rolls around, they simply sit here and they break the glass slipper. So they don't even know what they're doing. They just simply sit here with the fire hose, and they're just spraying it all over the place with no off button. And you can't do that.